Hi friends, Mauli from Art of Nature. We're going to make another wild wreath today because that is what we do best. So, let me get my bench here. We're going to mount this antler, which is a very large moose antler, on this base that we've already made, straw base covered with artemisia, sort of a little gap here and there. Clearly I wasn't being monitored when I did that, but we have a video for those of you who are new. We have a video that shows you how to do this. And what we're going to do today is mount this big antler. So this guy weighs probably about 14 or 15 pounds. It is a fresh shed, meaning it fell last winter. And you can tell from the color of it. Number one, it's very, very brown on both sides. Beautiful, very little chew. In fact, there's one little chew mark there, just a few little nubs up there, but it's overall a grade 1. It is just gorgeous. So this area here is called a palm or a paddle, some people call it. The points, tines, whatever. And then there's the beam, and then this right here is the burr. I'm sure there's a scientific name to it, but we call it a burr or a rosette. I love the name rosette. So anyway, we're going to mount this on here. Because it's so heavy, we're going to have to drill through and wire it to the base. So again, I use a DeWalt a power drill, and I've already put a bit in, and we're just going to start in. So I sort of know, just from doing this over the years, where to go. So we're going to start right here, number one. And I'm going to pull that up just a little bit because it's a little thicker down here, and I want to make sure it goes all the way through. Very easy to drill. So the outer surface is very hard, but once the drill bit gets through this outer surface, the center is very porous. So it literally goes right through to the other side. When you're drilling closer to a tine, especially where it's very dark and heavily veined like this, it's very difficult to drill through. So we try and avoid that. I'm also going to put a few holes in it, and I'll tell you why in one moment. We're going to use that as a hook, and we'll talk about that as we go. We're actually going to wire the beam right to the wreath, so we don't need to put another hole in here. So let's just start. I'm going to use what we always use, is a 22 gauge. I am going to double it because this is a very, very heavy antler. So turn it so we don't lean over and lose an eye or take a bruise. I burned my hand badly yesterday. Silly me, as I'm warning all of you to keep your eye on the glue gun. It ended up, the glue spilled on a piece of a large leaf, and I put my hand in to reach the stem, and it cut me on the back side. Didn't see it coming. And then of course, you know, when you peel the glue off, you peel your skin off as well. I've only done that a few times because it's really, you only need to do it a few times before you wake up. But apparently I needed a wake-up call yesterday, so. The glue gun gave me one. Okay, I'm just putting the wire down through. Pull it underneath the wreath. And this is going to take a separate one, so I really think we can tie it off. We know that this is going to be the top because we've put this directly through the middle of the wreath. It's right up through the circle. Take our needle nose, tighten that up, make it nice and snug. I'm just going to bend that down, and we'll hide that with the foliage, okay? This one, the same. And we're probably going to have to put a couple on this because this end is, I think I'm cutting the wire pretty heavy right there. Tighten it up with a needle nose. There's a lot of excess here, so I am going to trim. Okay, and this one, you can see it's pretty sturdy. I'm getting near the end here, so it's not unrolling very well. double. You really need to double when something is this heavy. Under the wreath, through the wreath, whatever you want it to be called, around the antler, and then keep it snug. It's on there. It's on there. So the two holes that I drilled through are going to be part of the hook that's going to hang this wreath. And the reason, I think we have spoken of this, but I am going to reiterate, the reason we drill through when we have a heavy object, and the object, even though the object is connected to the wreath, we need to also incorporate the hook through the heavy object. Over time, if we don't, over time and we just do this, the weight of the antler or whatever it is will eventually reshape your wreath into an oval. And there's nothing wrong with an oval, but if it's not designed that way, the botanicals change as the shape of the wreath changes. So I have two little wires together. I just drill two holes, maybe an inch apart. There's one I'm going to put on the inside, and then I'm going to put these two through the other hole. Okay. Get that in there, and then I'll show you a close-up of what we're doing. So one's going to go on the inside, one's going to go on the outside, and we're going to tie that off. I'm afraid I didn't make that wire long enough. We will repurpose it though. Let's try that again. Long wire so that I can make that hook really sturdy. From this end, to get the hang of that, I guess you could probably measure, but it's, again, I just do everything so free and wild that I guessed on it. My guess was wrong. Okay. This one will work. Okay, so this is what it looks like on this side. And it does not matter really what it looks like, because you know that we will put moss over it. It says two little holes, okay? And we did two because one, we didn't want to pull the wire up over this. We want them to be hidden. So one set, remember we doubled, so one set's going to go behind, one set's going to go on this side. And this is where we're going to snug it. Let me put it down for a minute so I can snug it. So I can't do it when it's in the air, okay? And then we're just going to twist those two together. So that was 22 doubled. It's super, super durable. I've learned to do things with one hand. It's amazing. Use your body to hold it up. And okay, so that's the length of it. So it's around the antler, through the antler, one piece here, one piece through. It's attached to the wreath. This whole thing is going to, I'm trying to keep you in the camera as I twist this. So we make the loop. You can do it sideways. I just did it vertically, and then we just twist that. And it's the same as if we took the ends and just wrapped it around, which we can also do. And then the excess, trim, trim, tuck in. Okay, so that is the hook. Very flexible, easy. It's nice because it's nice to make it a little bigger, and it's totally going to be hidden by this because it will make whoever hangs this, it'll just make it easier for them to easily put that over whatever it is they're hanging it on. And I trust it's going to be something sturdy. I trust they know that. Okay, so this basically is our wreath. And now we're going to put our salali, our foliage around it to measure it off. Okay, here we go. Let's just start with some. We can go long, we can go short. It doesn't have to be all the same, but we're gonna put glue. Number one, I'm gonna follow the line of this coming down a little bit. Then we're gonna take a few and go right up around the curve of the wreath. Be careful if you put two stems together. Is that enough after my finger from yesterday? Push it in and just start. And alternate where they go. One a little higher, one a little lower, one to the left, one to the right. Right up there with that one. There's a lot of artemisia on that. I actually made the base out of two separate straw bases, so there's a lot of artemisia I had to do to hide the making of it. And it's a little tougher to pierce with a woody stem of this. Don't forget to lift some right off so they're not all flat. We want dimension. We want it to come up out, as this does. Just makes the wreath look far more dimensional. Put this here. This guy's a little floppy. That has a beautiful angle. You know, I'm going to take that right down there so it sort of takes our eye right over there. Switch hands here. Following this little curve. See how close this is to my eye? That's what I mean when I say watch what you're doing. I'm going to just let that rest on that antler while it dries there. This one's beautiful. It kind of goes up in. I'm going to follow the curve on that side with it. Sort of rooting the foliage. That went right in nicely. Lean it in a little bit. So I buy all these antlers, the moose anyway, just the moose I should say, from a gentleman in Vermont. I've been buying from him for over 20 years. And he doesn't hunt. Well, he hunts antlers. He doesn't kill. And I say that cautiously because I don't want to be attacked, because I understand that people hunt for food, and I appreciate that as long as you are skilled and can take that animal without it suffering. Anyway, he has been harvesting antlers forever, and they're gathered in the winter, and he tracks them. Obviously, they tend to, which is amazing, and I didn't know this, but the bulls tend to drop their antlers in the same spot every year, even though they're sort of roaming creatures. But he has hundreds of them, and can even track the same bull. Like, for example, this one, he may have 4 years of this same bull, and they look alike other than size. Unless it's really young and it's growing a new tine, you know. But it's fascinating. He's obsessed with them, absolutely obsessed. I get it, because I have to admit, I'm a little obsessed too with them. So they're sold by the pound, and the quality of them. This antler cost me roughly $125. So you could buy them on eBay. You could probably get them from a man who hunts, although I doubt it, because usually men who track a bull like this and take a moose like this are going to keep the antler. But you know, maybe an auction, maybe an antique store. Maybe take your husbands off the wall. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I've done a lot of work like that where women have, you know, the guys want the man cave and the women are not quite cool with it, or they want their mounted deer head in the living room. And you know, it's always good to meet in the middle. So I started doing these really cool designs around mounted deer heads that make them look, they just don't, you know, they're not just a head. They now have foliage and beautiful flower and vine and all sorts of stuff. So it looks like they're really back in the woods. And I have to say, it's won many hearts of women who now say, wow, that I could live with. So there's a fun idea as well. These seem a little, they seem to be going in that direction, so I'm going to lift them up just a little bit. And put some shorter ones in there, get them up off the page, so to speak. We're going to need some longer foliage, but that long, thin stuff we'll put in at the very end. A lot of large feathers in too. Can you stand up, please? Oh, there. See? You just need to talk to it, apparently. Okay, we're going to put this piece in, and then I'm going to load up my bench. And will you come back and watch me do more of this? And I hope if you like what I'm doing, that you will leave comments and share, like and share. This, it's inspirational. Yes, I sell it, but I love to inspire people with it. So jump on board with me, will you? Okay, there we are. Top, foliage, we're in for the next ride. Join me back in a few minutes. Thank you.